It's time for us to start getting our tomatoes in the ground. They're fully hardened off. The nights for the next 10 days are staying above 50. They should be good to go in the ground. But we're gonna have to work in between doing some sidewalk chalk. There are two different types of tomatoes, if you didn't know. There are determinate tomatoes, which mean they grow to a certain height and then they stop. And then there are indeterminate tomatoes that will just keep growing and keep growing and keep growing. To find out if your tomatoes are determinate or indeterminate, you'll need to look up the breed. These are Henderson's Pink Ponderosa tomatoes, and these are an indeterminate variety. If tomatoes are left to grow on their own with nobody bothering them, they will end up turning into a huge bush. Wherever their stem falls down and touches the ground, it will start new roots. The suckers that come on the tomatoes can all turn into their own plants as well. This is why it's recommended to trellis and prune indeterminate tomatoes. So the first thing we need to do is harden off our plants, which we've already done that. If you didn't see that video on how to harden off, go back and watch that one just a couple videos ago. Then I like to thoroughly soak my seedlings. I'll bring the whole entire tray out to wherever it is in the garden that I am going to be transplanting these, and I will soak them very, very, very well before going in the ground. You want to hold it? This is what can happen if you put stuff in the ground without hardening it off. I got a flat of plants from a company a few days ago, and I thought they were hardened off. I forgot to ask before I left. Put them in the ground, and you can see they are not liking the transition very well. So to help these out, I'm just going to make sure I water them very well, and hopefully they'll be able to pull through. I thought filming in the garden with toddlers would be easier this year. It's just a different kind of challenging. I have a row of 8-foot T-posts set up in the garden that I used to trellis my tomatoes last year. So I'm going to start here with my indeterminate tomatoes that I know are going to get very large. Next, Ellie helped me dig a fairly deep hole. We want to dig our hole pretty deep, and we are going to put our tomatoes way under the ground because all of those little hairs, like I was saying, on the side of the tomato will become roots where they touch the ground. So before we put it in the ground, we're going to pinch off all of these lower leaves. And then we are going to place our tomato in the ground and fill in the dirt. And then any leaves that come in contact with the dirt, like this one right here, we're gonna go ahead and pinch those ones off too. And I know that might feel really scary to take all those leaves off, but I promise you, it will grow really fast, and before you know it, it's going to be bigger than you could possibly imagine. So then as this tomato grows up the T-post, we'll trellis it to this T-post and we'll prune it. And I'll show you that process as we go. But just for today, we're just getting these planted in the ground. We're not worrying about tying them up or pruning them quite yet. I'm also pulling out these wild onions as I grow. You can see they are all through my garden. They come straight up through the mulch. Now that the oregano is done in my dehydrator, I can put these in my dehydrator and make onion powder. that Bermuda grass is already growing up through there. I'm hoping to invest in some silage tarps that I can cover all this area and kind of kill all this stuff when I'm not using it for planting. Here in the back garden, we planted some of our champagne bubbles tomatoes and some holy basil. I'll show you real quick that cabbage is looking really good. But what a difference between those two. Same breed, variety, same date, everything the same, but huge difference. I absolutely love being out in the evenings. I miss a lot of evenings between bedtimes, and my work schedule is usually in the evenings, but the evenings is just so beautiful outside, and temperature wise, very nice. It's funny because my rooster, that way, that one right there, he is trying to cover my older hens, and my dominant hen is not okay with that. So anytime he tries to cover one of the hens, she comes over and rips him off, and it's kind of hilarious. It's like watching a chicken soap opera about, yeah, it's interesting. Alright, well I think we're going to play for a little while and then we're going to call it a night. So we will keep you up to date on all the things that are going to be going in the ground. It's like all of a sudden this time of year, everything needs to go in the ground right now. So trying to get as much as I can done every day and realize we have a long summer. It's okay if I don't get it done all now. We're still going to have a great harvest. So thanks for hanging out. I will see you next time.